Welcome to Cory's Stories. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Make sure that you're comfortable in your bed, that everything is just right in your room. You're able to relax as you lay down, trying to be still and quiet so that your body can finally fall into a deep state of peace, relaxation, and possibly sleep. Corriannda had been practicing trying to connect to the other side. The other side meaning connect to the angels, connect to her guides, connect to the fairies, connect to the elves, the mermaids, the star people, whoever it was that she wanted to connect to. She'd been on a mission to try and improve her connection to the other side, to the inner world, the realms where beings, all different shapes and sizes, reside. One of her aunts, that was a very, very good witch. She was an old witch. She'd been witching for a long time and knew so many things about so much stuff, had told Corriannda that she could use what's called a black mirror. Corriannda had absolutely no clue what a black mirror was. It doesn't make any sense. What do you see in a black mirror? Was what Corriannda had said to her aunt. Corriannda's aunt said, "That's the whole point. You see, it's kind of like a crystal ball. You stare into the blackness and the images appear in the black mirror. You see them." "Oh," said Corriannda, "how do I get a black mirror?" "You make it, silly," said Corriannda's aunt. "I'll show you. We'll have a black mirror night. You remember that time when we had a vision board night and you put everything that you wanted to manifest on the vision board?" Corriannda said, "Oh yeah, that was a good night." "Well, we'll have a black mirror night. We'll do it tonight. Make sure you come over and you bring some good mugwort tea. I always like a cup of mugwort tea, it's delicious. And maybe some cookies." Corriannda said, "What's the cookies for?" "Oh, they're not for magic, they're just for me," said Corriannda's aunt. Corriannda was instructed to go home and see if she could find either a black t-shirt or some black material, maybe a black scarf, anything that was plain black. And she also had to find a picture frame. Maybe she had a picture in a frame that she didn't like and she didn't mind about not using the picture anymore. Or maybe she could go thrifting and go find a picture frame. Or maybe she could go to a craft store and get a picture frame from somewhere like that. But she was clearly instructed by her aunt to come over with mugwort tea, cookies, black t-shirt or black material and a picture frame. Corriannda could not find a picture frame anywhere in her house. She went shopping with her mum to a place called Michael's, which was like a craft store that sold absolutely everything. And there she found the perfect picture frame. It wasn't too big, it wasn't too expensive, and she liked it, which was important. She did find a black t-shirt. That afternoon, she made sure to bake her bestest cookies with her mum. They were lemon drop cookies. They were absolutely delicious because they got the lemons off the lemon tree in the back garden. And you can't beat homegrown fruit or even homegrown vegetables. But lemons off your own lemon tree is the best thing in the world. The lemon drop cookies needed lots and lots of lemon rind. Lemon rind from 4 big lemons. A little bit of lemon juice. And then the rest was the lemons that they needed for the icing sugar. When she went over to her aunt's house later that night, her aunt showed her what to do with the black mirror. You wrap the t-shirt around the piece of cardboard or the piece of plywood that's in the back of the picture frame. You wrap it tightly and then you put the picture frame on. And then what it looks like is just a plain black picture. You can use it with the glass or without the glass. You put the picture frame in front of you and you stare into it and just let your eyes relax. Your eyes relax. Your gaze gets a little bit daisy. Your eyes close a little bit so they get a little bit squinty. And then you stare and stare and stare into the blackness. And then when you're completely comfortable and very relaxed and calm, you ask for one of your guides to come forward so that you can see them in the black mirror. Corrianda's aunt said, "It can take a lot of practice, but you'll get there eventually." She was munching away on the lemon drop cookies, watching Corriannda practice. "These are delicious," she said. "Did you know that mugwort tea gives you the craziest dreams?" Corriannda was staring into the picture frame. She'd forgotten about her aunt being there. She'd forgotten about everything else around her. She was just staring and staring and staring, to the point where she thought she was going to fall asleep. And then, in the black mirror, she saw a kitten. A kitten that looked like a ginger tabby that was far, far away, as if it was all the way back, towards the back of the room or whatever it was in the picture frame. Corriannda smiled. "I see a kitten," she said. "Oh, lovely," said her aunt on her 3rd cookie. With her mouth all full, she said to Corriannda, "Talk to it then. Ask it to do some kitten tricks. Tell it to come here so you can see it clearer." Corriannda started to communicate with her kitten in the black mirror. "Come closer," she said to the kitten. "Come all the way here to the front so I can see you." The kitten, very happily, started to trot its way towards the front, so it was really, really close up so that Corriannda could see it as if it was right there in front of her. Corriannda said, "Now sit." The kitten sat down. "Now stand up." The kitten stood up. "Now turn around and chase your tail." The kitten started to chase its tail around and around in circles. "Stop," said Corriannda. The kitten stopped. "Sit down." The kitten sat down. "Roll over." The kitten rolled over. Corriannda decided to reach in to the black mirror and tickle the kitten's tummy. The kitten then closed its paws around Corrianda's hand as if it was trying to grab a hold of her, while Corriannda tickled his tummy. When Corriannda opened her eyes, she realised that her eyes were closed. Her eyes weren't closed a minute ago, her eyes were open, and she was watching the cat in the black mirror. But then she realised when she closed her eyes, she went into the other world even deeper. And that's when she could use her mind to reach into the black mirror, to actually touch the kitten, to interact closer and be with the kitten on the inside of the mirror. Now that Corriannda had her eyes back open, and she wasn't focused, and she wasn't relaxed, and she wasn't squinting anymore, she couldn't see anything in the black mirror. Her kitten had disappeared just like that. Corriannda looked at her auntie and said, "How does that work?" Her auntie said, "It's magic, child, it's magic." Corriannda kept playing with her mirror. She saw an elephant, a tiger, and an old lady with long grey hair that went all the way down to the floor. All of them were very nice and very obedient. The old lady with the super long hair that went all the way down to the floor told Corriannda that she'd been her guide for a very long time and that Corriannda was an exceptionally good witch. Corriannda was very impressed with that. She was proud of herself. When Corriannda eventually got tired with the black mirror, she joined her aunt on the sofa with a cup of mugwort tea and a lemon drop cookie. The lemon drop cookies were melt-in-your-mouth delicious. "Anyone would think you're a witch. They're so good," laughed her aunt. That night, because of the mugwort tea, Corriannda had the craziest dreams. She was flying through the sky with a bright blue balloon. She didn't know if she was flying or if the balloon was actually flying her somewhere. It was quite an intense dream. Her aunt was right about the mugwort tea. Definitely. The end.